Volleyball IQ, we are going to look at how to time your jump in volleyball. What are some problems, Bry? What do you think's going on?
Well, I'm seeing a lot of kids now. I think it all stems from a mental side of playing it safe, but they slow down into the ball. So we're not jumping up big because we're uncomfortable. We don't want to mess up. We don't want to time it incorrectly. So we're not really hitting the ball at our highest point on the way up. We tend to slow down and just hit a safe shot for a lot of kids I see. So I think we can get them watching more. But what do you think we're looking for as a player?
When I was doing lessons, I think the biggest thing that helped, not talking about right, left, it was just simply matching up the blue paint step with the set. And if you haven't heard the blue paint step, it's the step, your first step of your four-step approach. Imagine there's blue paint on your foot and you're pressing down to make a perfect blue footprint, right? So as you're pushing down, you have the ability to control time. A lot of people just get into that front toe and they're stuck to a time. Some people get really flat with it and they get stuck and they can't really be explosive and fluid through that motion. But when I said to the players in those lessons, it was match the blue paint as that ball's going in the setter's hands and out. You should be in, out. And these are typical four balls in a lesson, very, very basic and blocked, but that allowed them to see the ball and then also get into a calm, fluid motion. So then they could accelerate. When they matched it, it was almost guaranteed that they were going to do a perfect four-step approach. If they didn't match it, they would go back to their goofy foot or they would be super early, super late. And then the second portion I like to call is like the pyramid. We have a video on this as well. But imagine that this is your range as a hitter with your feet. Once you start at the blue paint step, you can adjust on that second step. If you see something happening where, hey, the setter's coming to me, it's going to be more outside, you can take a step left, and then now everything's going to be towards this side. If you think it's going to be an inside set, you can go blue paint and then kind of cross over, and then your step close can be more inside. And so at any point, you can go blue paint, adjust, and then back to the center with a step close. And it can look however you want, but being able to have those distinct actions will help you time it better, get it in front of your shoulder. And I think with a combination of seeing the situation and the blue paint step, and then knowing that you can adjust, you can slow down, you can go fast. You want to be as fast and as powerful as possible. But I think some younger players just get stuck and then they do the slow down and then they just freeze instead of seeing that little information. And it's okay. Just go 95% instead of 100. And you'll notice in the videos to come how everybody does it a little bit differently.
Yeah, I think that's really good because I definitely see a lot of players just approaching the same way, no matter what the situation, no matter what the ball looks like, just same speed, same path. So it could be a really good thing to help players kind of move and adjust for it.
Alrighty, taking a look at this beautiful archive of me playing a little more hair. I just want to see, and we'll just call out all of the different feet that are happening. So you'll notice this middle. Just notice how he's chopping and creating space for the ball to potentially get in front of his hitting window. So he's hanging up on this second step. So boom, boom. And then he's going fast through. And normally you'll see, right, Bri, like a player, they'll go here and then they'll be either weak and they'll just kind of like fall in and they'll start their motion and they'll like, all right, I'm just going to fake jump. But you'll
Yeah,
see that he's really trying to hold off.
still be an option. Yeah.
Yep. And just be like, ah, I'm holding, I'm holding.
Yeah.
And that's a great way to time your jump in volleyball is, hey, you've seen the situation, you know what's kind of happening, and you're trying to be explosive at the end, he probably only max jumped at like 80%, but he did a great job at the beginning.
Yep.
So looking at the big player, rotating, I love the blue paint step. His blue paint step's a little stronger and he'll get on his toe. I think Irving Inkapet, if you've ever seen him play, he doesn't go heel to toe. His legs are like thick and he is so strong. So his blue paint step, he's allowed to kind of hold and go fast in this flex toe position. A lot of bigger and like stronger people can do it as well. You'll notice the right side though, he goes into the heel toe blue paint step. Here, the middle coming around, he did a little bit of a little stutter. So he saw the pass, he saw the setter kind of come in, he stuttered around him. He's gonna skip and then still get available. So all three players, different way to blue paint, but what they're doing is creating this space and this timing so that they can accelerate through the set, given that their set's going to be a given tempo, a given place. And I think that's what we're kind of showing everybody is that it's not one specific move, but your ability to kind of see the play and adjust.
Yeah, he slows down on that step a lot, the right side.
Yep, and I love it. Here's another thing. We'll see another picture of him as well, but look at this picture right here. As he's coming in, his feet are very like in line, not ideal, perfect jumping, but that set's going out, and he's really doing a good job of adjusting to this ball in this left foot. And so the left foot comes across, he's ready to jump out, and his timing is going to be better because he's one blue paint. The adjust didn't need to be adjusted, so he just did one, two, and then three. And then the fourth, he's like, "Ooh, that's kind of getting a little too far." And then he whips it around a lot to to fix just a little bit more. And he cranks the ball. So I love this one here. You'll notice, again, different player in zone six. I like how he's doing a little shuffle step. I like how the outside right here, look how he rotates his hips and gets a good blue paint step
Yeah.
right there on the right foot. Like I love this. A lot of like women, especially in like club and college, they just stop. They just like stop here, open up their hips to face the setter, and they just get like a little beach approach. I love people getting that right foot and getting in this position. It's just way more powerful.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it slightly different. The major call out here is as I pass a terrible ball, look how everybody like freaks out, right? Like especially 14, he sees that pass low and he's like, I need to go. So just notice how everybody's calm until they're not, and then
Yeah.
they rush into it to fix that timing. And that's because my pass was terrible. They they saw it and then they were in control to go boom a little bit faster second, or I need to really get on this. And I think that's an overlooked portion is seeing the different situations and the passes and just kind of being like, okay, it's going to be fine, or the setter's going to fix it. Really seeing the situation, seeing where the setter goes, knowing what to expect, and you're matching that with your feet. Here's a great way to time your jump on blocking. Again, he's getting in this blue paint step here. He's loaded. If the ball shoots up, he can kind of pause here. If it shoots fast, he can go and get it. But he's in a great position where his penultimate step, that third step, is heel striking perfectly. That's a great way to jump. And then his block step whips around that penultimate, like perfect jump technique. And then he can jump super high. But again, as a blocker, you'll see it in the middle later. Like he's doing a really great job of measuring up that set with that first one. And here's another one from the right side where now the set's coming from outside to in. The ball's going to be coming in. His feet are a little bit wider. He's adjusting that third and fourth close step, and it's not a perfect jump technique, but it's going to be really good to get 90, 95%, 80, just as awesome as possible. And I think, again, younger players are really stuck into, I have to look like this, and then they jump, and then they have to do some funky things to create some sort of positive output. But again, all these guys are creating different ways. Again, love the heel strike, blue paint. And then you'll see zone 6 hitting this bic. He's in here on his blue paint. And then he notices the middle is like kind of clogging up his route. And so he knows the setter, if he's going to go to him, it's going to go a little bit further. So you'll notice he takes this step right here a little bit further out. He would normally kind of take it in line with his body, but he goes out to create some space right around the middle. And then he comes back kind of underneath him, not ideal for him because that ball hangs inside and he wants to go cross. So a great example again of him setting up for the blue paint, him going blue paint, adjusting, step close, but then he's fixing that fourth step to hit. And here's another one for the middles out there. He gets into space. He does a little stutter like juke to create time. And then he accelerates through that hit. So it's all about creating time and space with your feet. And all these players are doing it slightly different. All right. So what do you think, Bry?
As we talked about in the beginning, we're seeing a lot of players at the younger ages kind of slow down into it. So if that's the case, and I'm constantly early, or even if I'm late, but we'll just use the example of being early, what's the first thing that I'm trying to do to fix this?
If you're early, you're just getting too eager. You're not seeing the certain cues that are coming out. So I would just stay a little bit longer on that blue paint and almost stress myself to be late. You can always create more momentum going forward if you're late and you're throwing that ball into the block or you have a strong tip. Once you're early and you're coming down and you're hanging, very limited options to get a kill. So I would say be late, really practice that blue paint step, allow the play to happen, and then get used to accelerating based on that set. And you can get a little bit more power behind the ball.
Great. Yeah, I love that idea of kind of being late into it or kind of jumping into it. That would be a good cue.
Yeah. And if you're late, I think a great place to start is getting your feet into a rhythm through that transition. You saw a bunch of those players do a little bit creative footwork, but if you're late, you're not getting into this smooth transition. And maybe it's like a five-step approach, right? Where you kind of stop your momentum as an outside, stop momentum, and then your blue paint goes. So it's like almost like a glide one. And I think getting into that glide early is a great way if you're late, because if you're passing and then all of a sudden you're stressed and you're going and you're always late, you're not passing and then moving while you're seeing. You're kind of seeing it. And then once you collect the information, you're not in a good position or you're stressed.
Awesome. Awesome. Love it. Good things to work on.
Cool. Let us know what you think.